Tape rumors just set the culture on fire, and now Busta Rhymes and 50 Cent are standing on opposite sides. Tension is high, words are flying, and this face-off got everyone watching close.
I hear somebody say, oh, he's cute, I want him. So when I heard that, I turned around, I'm like, man, did he just say that? Man, you got all this jewelry to attract some men in here? You wild. Shocked me. But sure enough.
And that was the guy that Busta Rhymes pulled back?
He pulled him into the section. And then they walled him off like this man. I'm like, damn. And that little dude was so happy. He couldn't believe that. He was.
Right now, Busta Rhymes is finding himself in a storm he probably never thought would hit. For decades, he's been respected as one of hip-hop's most animated performers, a man with hits spanning generations, and a figure who's managed to stay relevant through countless shifts in the game. But lately, the spotlight on him ain't about music. It's about rumors, accusations, and some very messy connections that could blow up his entire image. And standing across from him in the middle of it all is none other than 50 Cent, the master of trolling, exposing, and turning other rappers' secrets into punchlines. The spark that lit this fire came from a shocking claim by Busta's former bodyguard, Big Homie CC. In a podcast interview, CC painted a picture that had fans doing double takes. He said Busta used to have young men lined up in VIP sections, handpicking who he wanted, and even making aggressive moves on them. According to CC, it wasn't just rumors. He witnessed it firsthand. And whether you believe him or not, once that story hit the blogs, Busta's name was tied to a narrative he couldn't escape. The timing couldn't have been worse. Busta's longtime friendship with Diddy has already made people suspicious. Puff is in the middle of federal raids, lawsuits, and allegations about his infamous freak-off parties, wild secret gatherings where celebrities and industry insiders allegedly indulged in anything and everything. With Diddy now facing a possible indictment, everyone connected to him is under a microscope. And Busta, he's been standing right there next to Puff for years, even showing up at parties that are now being questioned in court filings.
We made love. We made love.
Who you made love with?
Diddy, Bow Wow, Busta Rhymes.
You just told me you see Busta in the airport too. Them from trying to act like he didn't know you. You smashed Drake?
No, I never smashed.
Oh, you made love to Drake.
What's that name? Terrence Howard.
Terrence Howard.
Terrence Howard. Usher. Usher's a gusher. And
What the? Why you not naming?
I'm telling you, bro. It's my dad's friends. My dad sent his baddest friends on me.
Who's your dad?
Lucifer.
That's where 50 Cent comes in. Fifth has been trolling Busta online, but not in the way he usually does. At first, it seemed like comedy. 50 posted memes clowning Busta's old yellow leather outfit, comparing him to cartoon characters, and dragging him with AI-generated pics. Fans laughed, thinking it was just harmless trolling, but insiders say those jokes weren't random. They were warning shots. According to whispers, 50 might be holding on to footage from a Diddy party that allegedly shows Busta caught up in compromising situations. Rumors claim the Netflix documentary 50 is producing about Diddy. The one that's supposed to expose everything about Puff's secret world will feature Busta's name heavy. If that's true, then Fifth's online trolling is just his way of letting Busta know, I got ammo and I'm not afraid to use it. Adding to the heat, more men have stepped forward with their own stories about Busta. Some claim he tried to pressure them into after parties. Others say he made them uncomfortable with how aggressive he could be when he wanted something. These stories don't come with solid proof, but in today's internet culture, perception is everything. And right now, the perception is ugly. It doesn't help that Busta's past already shows he has a violent temper. Over the years, he's been sued multiple times for allegedly assaulting fans and associates. There was the case where he was accused of throwing bottles at someone, another where he supposedly beat up his own driver, and several incidents of him lashing out in public. That track record makes people more likely to believe he could be capable of crossing other lines too.
These sensitive ass that just came out of this little, I don't know where they come from, but niggas be getting wild emotional. Niggas be turning into big super police. Just be trying to have fun.
Busta ever try to phone me? Hit you with no delay, so what you saying, yo? Should've with that 9 milli, what the devil, yo? Yeah, I can hit better than him. He better not play with me. I will and perform Busta Rhymes show.
Do it, right?
Yeah,
This
yeah.
is- I know
He did it.
you've been heavy on social
No, he
media
did it.
talking about it.
He did it. And I'm the only one who's been vocal about this long before it actually.
Oh, you've been saying this for a long time now.
To make things worse, old rumors have resurfaced about Busta attending pride events and being spotted with trans women in New York. On their own, those things ain't crimes, but paired with the new accusations, fans are starting to connect dots. Whether fair or not, the internet don't wait for court cases. It runs with the messiest story available. And now, with 50 Cent's documentary on Diddy looming, the question isn't just about Busta's past behavior, it's about how much dirt Fifth is about to drag into the light. 50 has built a whole career off destroying reputations with jokes, facts, and receipts. If he's really sitting on tapes or insider testimonies, Busta could be facing the biggest scandal of his life. For a man who once stood tall as a hip-hop legend, this is a dangerous place to be. The blogs are buzzing, fans are debating, and 50 Cent is grinning ear to ear, knowing he's got the upper hand. Busta might have thought the yellow leather jokes were harmless, but the truth is, they're just the start of a much bigger war.
Don't say that on here. They call them fun boys. They'll say, we gotta have some fun boys in the section for Busta. Bro, Busta Rhymes wanted him in his section so bad. Like, what? Pulled him to the section, like through the rope, and tucked him off in the corner. So I'm looking like, well, he ain't come with us.
I'm walking through the crowd and somebody grabs my hand. Just softly put their hand in my hand and just holding it. So I look, and I see this big chain that said flip mode. I look up and it's Busta Rhymes.
If there's one thing people should know by now, it's that 50 Cent doesn't play with his enemies. He doesn't just diss you with bars and walk away. He studies you, he gathers dirt, and then he trolls you until your reputation collapses. We've seen him do it to Ja Rule, Rick Ross, Young Buck, Diddy, and countless others. Once 50 gets a whiff of blood in the water, it's over. And now, all signs point to him setting his sights on Busta Rhymes. At first, the trolling seemed playful. Fifth posted those AI photos clowning Busta's yellow leather outfit, turning him into a laughingstock online. The memes had millions laughing, but industry folks knew better. That wasn't random. It was a setup. 50 always starts small, dropping jokes that look like comedy on the surface, but underneath he's testing reactions. If you bite back, he digs deeper and busts a bit. Instead of brushing it off, Busta went on his own page firing back, trying to clown 50 with edits and jokes of his own. That was mistake number one. Anyone who's watched 50 operate knows that engaging only fuels him. And with rumors that 50 has actual footage from a Diddy party showing Busta in a compromising position, the last thing Busta should have done was poke the bear. Behind the scenes, insiders claim Busta's been scrambling. Word is he's been reaching out to mutual connections, trying to pressure 50 into leaving his name out of the upcoming Netflix documentary on Diddy. But here's the thing, pressuring 50 Cent never works. If anything, it motivates him. The more Busta tries to silence him, the more determined Fifth becomes to drag everything into the light. It's classic 50. The harder you fight, the harder he goes. And the Diddy connection makes it worse. For years, Busta's been right there at Puff's side. He's performed at his parties, shown up at his events, and been photographed in the background of moments that now look incriminating. Back then, nobody thought twice about it. But now, with Puff facing federal raids and lawsuits claiming his parties were basically blackmail traps, every face in those photos looks suspicious. And Busta's face is all over them. That's why the allegations from big homie CC, Busta's former bodyguard, hit so hard. CC claimed Busta had men lined up in VIP like it was auditions, and that he was known for making aggressive moves. On their own, maybe people would brush it off as one disgruntled ex-employee. But add in the Diddy connection, the rumors of footage, and Busta's history of violent outbursts, and suddenly the story feels heavier. And let's not forget, this isn't the first time whispers about Busta's private life have popped up. For years, there were quiet rumors about him showing up at pride events and being spotted with trans women in New York. None of that is inherently wrong, but in an industry obsessed with image, those rumors were buried fast. Now that the Diddy scandal cracked everything wide open, those old whispers are resurfacing louder than ever. Meanwhile, Busta's trying to act like none of it bothers him, but the pressure's showing. He snapped at fans, thrown shade online, and even had heated moments at shows where people heckled him with jokes about Diddy. Every time he reacts, it proves 50's strategy is working. The more rattled Busta gets, the more ammo Fifth has. And here's the bigger picture. This isn't just about Busta Rhymes. This is about 50 Cent's long game against Diddy. Fifth has made it clear that he's coming for Puff with this documentary, and anyone tied to him is collateral damage. From Usher to Meek Mill to Busta, if your name's attached to Puff's infamous parties, you're on the chopping block. And Busta, with his history of loyalty to Puff, looks like one of the easiest targets. What makes it even more dangerous for Busta is how the public already sees him. For years, he's been known as the loud, aggressive guy, the one who will throw a bottle, shove a fan, or snap on somebody in public. That kind of rep makes it easy for the internet to believe the darker allegations. And once the internet believes it, no amount of denials can erase it. So now, Busta's in a lose-lose situation. If he stays quiet, 50 keeps clowning him until the doc drops. If he fights back, 50 goes harder and leaks more dirt. Either way, the storm is coming. And when 50 Cent's involved, storms usually end careers. To understand why people are quick to believe the new wave of accusations against Busta Rhymes, you gotta look at his history. For all the fun, animated energy he shows on stage, Busta has always been known to have a short fuse. That temper has led to countless incidents over the years, and now it's coming back to haunt him. One of the earliest examples was back in the 2000s when Busta allegedly attacked a fan for touching his jewelry. Reports say bottles flew, fists swung, and security had to break it up. Another time, his chauffeur sued him after claiming Busta beat him up over a minor dispute. He's been arrested for throwing punches at strangers, and there was even a case where he hurled a protein shake at someone during a heated argument. Time and time again, Busta's violent streak made headlines, but because he was such a respected figure in hip-hop, a lot of it got brushed off as Busta being Busta. Now, those same stories are being dug back up as context. People are saying if he had no problem lashing out physically, then the allegations about him being aggressive behind closed doors aren't hard to imagine. Big homie CC's claims about men being lined up in VIP, about Busta being pushy and forceful, suddenly don't sound so far-fetched. And it's not just one voice anymore. After CC's interview made waves, other men came forward sharing their own experiences. Some told stories of Busta pressing them at after parties. Others claimed he made suggestive comments that crossed the line. None of these claims have hard evidence yet, but the sheer number of voices piling up makes it harder for Busta to brush off his lies. In the court of public opinion, patterns matter more than proof. Adding more smoke, rumors resurfaced about Busta showing up at LGBTQ+ events in New York, spotted at pride parades, and even being seen with trans women. On its own, that's not a scandal. Plenty of artists support the community. But paired with these aggressive behavior claims, fans are spinning it into a narrative that Busta's private life might be very different from the image he's pushed for years. And in hip-hop, where image is everything, that kind of contradiction makes him an easy target. Enter 50 Cent's documentary on Diddy. Insiders say this Netflix series is gonna blow the lid off Puff's infamous freak-off parties. Lawsuits have already described them as setups, parties where celebrities were allegedly filmed in compromising positions to use as leverage later. If that's true, and if Busta really was a regular at those events, then Fifth has all the ammo he needs. The whispers say Busta's name comes up more than once in the documentary, and that there may even be footage tying him to Puff's world. And here's the thing, 50 doesn't bluff. Whenever he trolls someone, it's usually because he's sitting on something. Remember when he went at Rick Ross? He didn't just clown him online, he dropped the Baby Mama tape. When he beefed with Young Buck, he didn't just diss him, he leaked emotional voicemails. Fifth always has receipts. So if he's hinting at Busta being exposed, there's a good chance he's holding cards we haven't seen yet. That's why Busta scrambling behind the scenes looks so bad. Rumors say he's been trying to contact Netflix execs, even threatening legal action to keep his name out of the project. But that desperation only fuels speculation. Fans are saying, if you've got nothing to hide, why are you sweating? In the eyes of the public, silence sometimes works better than panic. And right now, Busta looks panicked. Meanwhile, the culture is shifting. With Diddy already under investigation and more celebrities being named, fans are bracing for a wave of exposés. Busta, who once stood untouchable as a legend, is now lumped into that mix. His catalog of classics and decades of work can't shield him from the reality that people care more about gossip than legacy. Once 50's doc drops, no matter what Busta says, his name will forever be tied to the scandal. And for someone who always prided himself on being loud, confident, and in control, this kind of exposure could be career-ending. Right now, Busta Rhymes is in one of the toughest spots of his career. The internet is ruthless, and once your name gets tied to scandal, the memes come faster than the facts. Every time his face pops up online, fans flood the comments with jokes about Diddy's parties, about freak-offs, about him being next in line for exposure. It doesn't matter if nothing has been proven. In 2024, perception is reality, and the perception is ugly. Clips of Busta at old Diddy parties are being reposted like evidence, even if they show nothing more than him dancing or laughing. Screenshots of him with Puff, once seen as brotherhood, are now being captioned as receipts. Old interviews where he talked about being in the club scene are going viral with people twisting every word. It's the internet court, and Busta's on trial without ever stepping into an actual courtroom. Meanwhile, 50 Cent is thriving. This is exactly the kind of scenario Fifth knows how to flip into money and power. With the Diddy documentary reportedly set to drop on Netflix, 50's not just trolling for laughs. He's building hype for a product that could shake the industry. Every meme, every AI edit, every sly jab at Busta or Puff is marketing. Fans know that when Fifth clowns someone this hard, he's got more coming, and that anticipation keeps the spotlight locked on him. For 50, it's a win-win. If the doc drops and Busta's name is tied to messy footage or testimonies, he looks like a prophet exposing the truth. If Busta tries to fight back, it just keeps the story alive longer, making the documentary an even bigger event. Fifth has been here before. He knows how to drag out beefs, control narratives, and make sure he always looks like the one pulling strings. The question is, can Busta survive it? His legacy as one of hip-hop's most respected performers is solid. He's given the culture classic records, legendary videos, and a stage presence almost nobody can match. But legacy doesn't always save you from scandal. We've seen other legends dragged down by rumors and allegations that overshadowed their work. Once the internet stamps you with a label, it sticks. And Busta Rhymes, the rap legend, is now being overshadowed by Busta Rhymes, the guy tied to Diddy's parties. The danger for Busta isn't just the internet gossip, it's association. Puff is under federal investigation. Raids, lawsuits, witnesses, the machine is already moving. And anybody tied to Puff too closely runs the risk of being dragged into the mud, whether they're guilty of anything or not. Busta spent years standing by Puff's side. That loyalty, which once looked like friendship, now looks suspicious. If federal eyes start combing through guest lists and footage, Busta's name will be there. That alone is enough to keep him in the scandal cycle. Fans are split. Some are defending him, saying it's all gossip until there's proof. Others argue that Busta brought this on himself by staying too close to Puff for too long, even as whispers about those wild parties grew louder. But one thing everyone agrees on, Busta doesn't look comfortable. His angry reactions online, his attempts to clap back at 50, his rumored efforts to keep his name out of the Netflix doc, they all give the impression of a man scrambling, and scrambling never looks good in this game. So where does this end? If 50 Cent delivers on the documentary hype, Busta's reputation could take a massive hit. Even if nothing illegal is revealed, just being tied to Diddy's scandal in detail could stain him permanently. On the other hand, if Busta somehow weathers the storm, ignores the trolling, and focuses on music or shows, he might be able to ride it out. But with 50 on the other side, history says survival won't be easy. In the end, the culture loves mess. And right now, Busta Rhymes is messy. Whether he's guilty of anything or just guilty by association, the headlines don't care, the blogs don't care, the memes don't care. The storm is here, and Busta's name is right in the middle of it. And with 50 Cent holding the mic, laughing while he pours gasoline on the fire, this might be the hardest battle of Busta's career. Not on wax, not on stage, but in the court of public opinion.